All right, all right, all right. How'd y'all enjoy that? All right. We are here with the legendary legends of the film, K.K. Rockwell and Grand Wizard Theodore. Let's give a round of applause for them. So we only had one person in the audience that's actually seen the film before. For everybody else, it was a new experience. Did y'all enjoy yourselves? Incredible, incredible. So I hope you guys learned some things about authentic hip hop culture. You got some incredible questions for our guests. Anybody got questions? Come on, let's see some hands up. I know y'all got some questions. Say it again. What happened to Rose? I think they Rose gave my man some good a great idea. I think they kind of came together at the end, right? Now, I was telling them like it's a film, but for me it's almost like a documentary because everybody in it was really real, right? It's like 95% of the players in the film are actually authentic hip hop cats, correct?
Absolutely, man. This story had to be told, man. It had to be told. And first, I want to thank Busy B. Starsky because he's like the one that really, helped put this together. If it wasn't for him, it might not have been a Wild Style movie because he met Charlie Ahern before we all met Charlie Ahern.
Okay.
So salute Busy B. Starsky. This wouldn't have happened without him.
Wow. Okay. That's pretty deep. I never heard that before, that Busy B was the guiding force behind pulling this together.
Yes. Yes,
so,
definitely, man.
And Busy B brought you guys into it. He brought you into it, Theodore, you, K.K. Rockwell?
Nah, Theodore brought me into it.
Okay.
I was brought into it by Grand Wizard Theodore. And
what happened was Busy B. Starsky brought Charlie Ahern around, and Charlie Ahern was just taking pictures. Harlem World, taking pictures. Celebrity Club, taking pictures. T-Connection, taking pictures. And we look at him like, who is this white guy here taking pictures all the time?
Yeah.
And Busy B. Starsky was like, yo, it's my man Charlie Ahern. He taking pictures. We doing this documentary. And then the documentary became a movie, and then it became Wild Style,
Wow.
So it's a beautiful thing.
So what was it like for you, like being such a significant feature in the film, being the DJ on the wheels behind a lot of those performances, actually being there? What was it like for you? How did you come about with the music you were spinning, the sound bed you were playing behind it, the performances? How did that come about?
Well, first of all, I was suggesting to Charlie Ahern and Fab Five Freddy to incorporate some of the songs that we played all the time, like Just Begun, Super Sperm, Let's Dance to the Drummer's Beat, the Mardi Gras. I was trying to get him to incorporate all those songs in the movie. And Charlie Ahern was like, we want to do our own music. And I totally disagreed with him when he said that. So looking back on it, I totally agree with Charlie Ahern now because we would have had to be given these groups, man.
Right.
They share, and I apologize to Charlie. I was like, yo, I didn't agree, man, with doing the original music. But now that we did the original music, man, it was definitely an ingenious thing to do, man. And I definitely commend, Charlie Ahern on it and stuff like that. And like I said earlier, this story had to be told, man. We took nothing and made it into something,
Right.
The graffiti artists, the B-boys, the B-girls, the beatboxers. We incorporated the stick-up kids and and the Dixie Club and all that. That's that, and the abandoned buildings and people doing murals for rich people downtown and stuff like that. All this is a true story, man. 90% of the story that's told in Wild Style is true. It's not like anything was made up. It's just different characters.
Wow, that's incredible. The KK Rockwell, kind of bring the people into like where were you, your role in the film? You said Theodore brought you in. You guys are in the same group, correct?
Correct. Well, Theodore brought me down, and I worked on the soundtrack. I did the soundtrack with Grand Wizard Theodore, and ironically, in the movie, at the end of the movie, the amphitheater, I was one of the three DJs that was able to play a record that was actually used during the hip hop era, and it was Theodore told me to play Heartbeat.
Okay.
And that's what I was doing when the guys was coming through. And then you had Flash, he was playing the bells. And you had Grandmaster DST, he was playing Good Time. So those were the three records outside of the soundtrack that Theodore and I did scratches on.
Wow, that's incredible. That because now, like you said, Theodore, the music is original. Now the soundtrack is a classic all in itself.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
I want to thank Blondie, her husband, Chris Stein, because they were responsible for funding the movie and stuff like that.
Okay.
They were responsible for going in the studio and funding the soundtrack and stuff like that. Blondie's husband, Chris Stein, got sick in the middle of filming Wild Style. He got so sick to the point where, we thought he wasn't going to make it. And Wild Style has shut down for like 8-9 months, maybe longer. And then, he started to feel better. And that's when the funding kept coming in, and we was able to finish, the movie Wild Style. So thank you to Blondie. Thank you to her husband, Chris Stein. Thank you to Five Freddy and stuff like that, man. And I'm just happy to be a part of something that's bigger than I am. We we doing 50 years of hip hop.
Yes.
And now we doing 40 years of the Wild Style movie, man. So like I said earlier, man, I'm just happy to be a part of something, that's bigger than I am.
Incredible. I was just telling the audience earlier, so this is actually Hip Hop Appreciation Week. And we got to see this film, and today happens to be Classic Film Day. So we got to see Wild Style on Classic Film Day during Hip Hop Appreciation Week.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's absolutely incredible how this came together. And it's really super incredible how you guys here. Now, KK Rockwell, Kevin Kev, Rockwell, you were really close with a brother of mine. We shared a close comrade in TC Islam.
Yes,
he actually,
that's our brother.
Yeah, he actually introduced me to you some years ago. Man,
that's how we first met. Correct.
Yeah, man. Share something with me about your brother TC Islam and the great work that he was doing in you guys' relationship.
Well, I'm going to tell you a real true story here. I had stopped DJing, and TC told me, "Yo, you got to get back in the game." So I said, "Nah, I'm good." So they said, "Nah, you got to get back in the game." So I came back, and I've been really, really lucky and been blessed. And I feel that my blessings come from his spirits, guiding me in the right directions, making sure that I make the right moves. And I've been real lucky since his passing.
Man,
and I miss him a whole lot.
God bless. I love seeing you do your thing. You bring such an incredible energy to the parties when you rock it. Your energy on the turntables is just magic, man. You smiling, you got that big, incredible, beautiful smile, and you smiling the entire time you DJ, and it's a blessing to be able to witness you do your thing, man. And
Well, you know, I got to say this, and I'm not saying it because he's on tonight. The most important person in hip hop to me is Grand Wizard Theodore. Grand Wizard Theodore took me under his wing. He is the most powerful mentor anyone can have in their corner. If you watch me DJ, you'll see me doing gyrations, pointing at the crowd, pointing at the record, making the, I get that from Theodore. You know what I'm saying? When I became into the group, I was DJing, and I had a DJ, but Theodore taught me how to play for the crowd. He taught me how to involve the crowd in what we're doing. And that's why I DJ the way I DJ. And extremely grateful to him, because that's the creative scratch. He doesn't have to do that.
right.
But he took time and gave me nothing but love, knowledge, and wisdom. And he is the reason why there's a DJ Kevin Kev Rockwell.
That's incredible. Give it up for Grand Wizard Theodore.
Salute. Yeah, and I just wanna, say, I don't want to forget about all of the DJs and the MCs, that's not here with us no more, because there's a lot of DJs and MCs, even B-boys and B-girls, graffiti artists, that's not here with us no more. And these are the people that the 50th anniversary of hip hop should be dedicated to.
Yes.
I mean, it's cool when I don't want to say no names, but I look at TV and I see people saying, "Oh, 50th anniversary of hip hop," but they don't have none of us up there saying "Happy 50th anniversary of hip hop." Right. They should be, saluting the people. You know what I'm saying? That put the blood, sweat, and tears into this. It's like
that
going
created it.
It's like going to a table and sitting down and eating. Don't you want to know who made the food? Right. Don't you want to know who set the plates out? Who set the utensils out? The drinking utensils? Who made the food? That's who the 50th anniversary of hip hop is dedicated to. There's a lot of people that's not here no more, man. Cool DJ AJ, Love Bustarsky, Dada Rock. You know what I'm saying? Easy Rock, Rob Bass DJ, Dow C, the Crash Cruise DJ. There's a lot of people that's not here with us no more. Even some of the breakers. Mr. Freeze.
Right.
So the 50th anniversary of hip hop is dedicated to all of those that's not here with us no more.
That's right. And they contribute big time.
And I just needed to say that.
They contribute big time. Those people contribute big time.
Absolutely.
A lot of them made hip hop exactly what it is. You know what I'm saying? And we can't forget about them. They were amazing people. And I miss Dot Rock every day, and every time we do something that's in correlation to Wild Style or the old school era, Dada Rock comes to mind, and I know Theodore feels the same way. It's without those fallen soldiers of hip hop.
Frozen. Did you guys?
It would never be. AJ was a promoter.
Right. Did you guys hear? So you guys know that the significance of these two gentlemen, they were both in the group Fantastic Freaks, right? Fantastic Romantic. Give us a little bit of history on how the group came about, because we know what we witnessed in the film is a legendary battle between Fantastic Freaks and the Cold Crush Brothers. Both of these guys are part of the same group. Give us a little bit of history on how your group came together, and how this whole battle sequence, was birthed. Give us a little bit of history on that.
Well, first of all, when I was down with the L Brothers, which is my brother Mean Gene and my other brother DJ Cordio, when I was down with them, we had 3 MCs. We had Master Rob, Waterbed Kev, MC Ruby D, and we had Busy B. Starsky. But Busy B. Starsky was down with everybody. He wasn't down with one group. He's a solo MC. So when I decided to move on from the L Brothers, I took Kev, Rob, and Ruby D with me. That's when they became the 3 MCs. Now, Whipper Whip and Dada Rock was down with Charlie Chase, Tony Tone, and Grandmaster Cass. They was all down together over there on 180th Street, further in the South Bronx. And Dada Rock and Whipper Whip decided that they wanted to get down with the Fantastic. So they approached me and said, we want to get down with you guys. So I said, let's have a vote. We talked to the crew. If they feel that they want to get down, I said, I feel that they was a great asset to the Fantastic because they had just as many fans as the Fantastic. So they would have been a great asset to the crew. So we ended up putting Dada Rock and Whipper Whip down with the Fantastic, and that's when it became the 5. I said, we're going to do 3 shows. They're going to get X amount of dollars for those 3 shows. Everybody going to know that they down with us. And then when the 4th show comes, everybody get equal pay. And that's how Whipper Whip and Dada Rock got down with the Fantastic in the, I think it was like 1980, like the summer of 80, 81.
Wow.
And after that, the rest was history, man. The routines got better. We started doing more shows. We started doing shows in the Bronx and doing shows in Queens. We started doing shows in the Bronx and doing shows in Manhattan. 2 shows a night, because I had to pay 5, 6 people. So I had to keep these shows coming. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And the rest was history. And then once we started doing the movie Wild Style, that's when everything started to come together. Because we did a record called Rapping Fresh Out the Pack. And once we did that record, man, it was like, it just took us to that next level, man. To that next level.
How did you guys feel like coming from, the rec room era, right? Park jams and stuff, to seeing actual records being made. How are you guys feeling about that transition, and how did you deal with that? With the whole, once the industry got involved in rap music and started the exploitation of the music. How were you guys dealing with that? How are you feeling with that whole transition?
Yo, once Rapper's Delight came out, man, when Rapper's Delight came out, I knew that it was going to be the good and the bad. I know something good was going to happen, and I know something else was going to happen. I just didn't know, what it was. It's like when people create something and everybody want to take it away from them and package it up and keep it for themselves. That's what happened to hip hop. It became public domain. It became public domain. And Grandmaster Cass wrote the rhymes for Big Bang Hank for the Rapper's Delight record. So right then and there, that's when we started to see things transitioning. The MCs from Manhattan started making records. You had single rappers started making records. Curtis Blow, was making records. So it was like we had to get into that too. We had to start making records. That's when we made Rapping Fresh Out the Pack, and we needed to make that transition to get down with a record company. We just didn't know what record company we was going to get down with. I mean, we had a meeting with the Sugar Hill Records and stuff like that, but it didn't really pan out for me and the Fantastic. So Waterbed Kev ended up going to Sugar Hill Records and made a record,
Right.
which was all good, you know. So right there, it was just telling you that when it came time for people making records, that's when all the shady stuff started coming in. Because the record companies, man, they were breaking up groups, man. They were breaking people up, you know. So it was like, you know, hip hop started in the streets, and now it's in the corporate markets. So once it got in the corporate markets, these are the same people that started telling us, "Oh, it's a fad. It's not going to work." You know, we ain't have no managers. You know, we didn't have no paperwork. You know, we didn't know the business aspect of everything because everything that we was doing came from the streets, and that's when we got exploited. We should have learned what the record business was about, and we didn't know what the record business was about, and that's when the transition just ran right over all of us. You know?
Yep.
Wow.
That's what that is, man. You know?
Got a question from the audience.
Oh, there we go.
So, so like the Kennedy assassination, everybody's got different theories and thoughts of how it happened, right? I'm curious. You know, I've heard a lot of different stories about the origin of hip hop. You're talking about all these groups that are the origin of hip hop, like you guys. What was like the moment? Like, what was the thing that happened that was the moment that, in your guys' opinion, was the birth of hip hop? I'm curious on your stories about that. Like, what was the first moment where it's like hip hop was born at this moment?
First, we got to ask ourselves, like, what is hip hop? See, hip hop has been here with us since the beginning of time. You know, you can go back to the caveman days where the caveman is banging on their drums, you know, around the campfire. You know what I'm saying? Right. And that's the DJ. And then you got the people that's dancing, you know what I'm saying, and the jungle dance and stuff like that. That's the b-boy, you know. And then you go in the caves and you see the hieroglyphics on the wall, and that'll tell you what kind of language that they spoke and the gods that they, you know, supported and everything. That's the graffiti artists right there, you know. And then you got the tribal people standing around the campfire telling stories to all the kids and all the tribal people. That's hip hop right there. It's just that we didn't invent hip hop. We recreated hip hop. We put an innovation to hip hop. So we really can't point at one person and say, okay, that person is hip hop, and then that person is hip hop. Hip hop was reinvented and recreated by a collective group of people. You know, you got Flash, you got Hurt, you got Bam, you know, you got all these graffiti artists. You know, you got the B-boys that was B-boys before they became DJs. You got B-boys before they became graffiti artists. So, you know, hip hop was always here since the beginning of time. It's just that we can't point a finger and say, okay, you know, hip hop was here, hip hop was there, hip hop was here. You know, the DJ Flowers brought his equipment inside Yankee Stadium in 1969 and opened up for James Brown. You know, he was playing records. He had a big system and everything. That's a form of hip hop right there. You know, and you had all these other DJs that was playing music in Queens, Staten Island, Brooklyn. You know, so you can't really point a finger and say where hip hop started, because hip hop was reinvented by all of us. We never even started calling it hip hop until like 1979, 1980. We always called it the jam. We always called it disco. You know, so we can't really pinpoint. We can't really pinpoint anything, but we started calling it hip hop in the summer of 1979, 1980. That's when we started calling it hip hop. You know, it was always here. We just called it different names.
Hey, Theodore, we can pinpoint when the scratch began, though.
Oh, absolutely. 1975, man.
1975?
That's it. When I was 12 years old, 1975.
Word. And I always
tell him, hold up 1 second. Tell them how you invented scratch, T. Tell them the
Uh,
story.
oh man, we got time.
Let's go.
Before I tell you the story about the scratch, I want to thank everybody for coming down and taking the time out to watch the Wild Style movie, man, because this movie basically changed everybody's lives around the world, man. And I just want to thank everybody for coming down the 40th anniversary and seeing the Wild Style movie. Now, how I created this scratch, my last year of junior high school, 12 years old, my principal playing music in the loudspeakers in the lunchroom. People got tired of listening to him playing that music. A friend of mine's convinced my principal to let me make a cassette tape. So I went home, took my boombox, put it in front of the speaker, press record, started making my mix cassette. And during the course of me making my mix cassette, my moms came, bust in the room, they turned the music down or turned the music off. And during those couple of seconds, which seemed like an eternity, I turned the music down. I did a scratch. Moms left the room. I finished my cassette tape, rewound it back, started listening to it, and found out that I created the scratch. And after that, capitalized off it, started using different records, using different scratch techniques, and that's how I became a scratch in 1975. And if you look at drunk history on Comedy Central, it'll actually tell you the story of how I created the scratch. You know,
That's incredible. All right, another question. Thanks to moms, right?
yeah. It's the moms.
I was gonna ask if that story was true because I just saw that on Drunk History, and so I'm glad that now I can say it was true. So, any ties or anything that you guys might have kept up with there's so many people in that film that I recognize from hip hop culture growing up in the '90s. Crazy Legs, and Prince Whip wasn't he here in Michigan? Okay.
Yes.
He's
Yes,
still around though? Okay,
Yeah,
good.
Whip lived in Michigan for a minute.
Yeah, I seen him
Yeah.
at hip hop shows. I'm like, that's Whip right there.
My brother. Yeah.
So yeah, is there other folks that you kept in touch or that you kept ties with? Throughout the years.
I mean, it's gotten to the point where, people got married, people started having kids, people started having mortgages, people started having car payments. So life itself, people started to move away and stuff like that. I was with Crazy Legs the other day. We had to film some stuff. I talked with Crazy Legs. I talked to Herc a couple of days ago. Me and Grandmaster Flash, we talk like twice a week and stuff like that. Curtis Blow, I talk to him almost every day because I'm a part of the Hip Hop Alliance and stuff like that. KRS-One, I talk to him, 2-3 times a week and stuff like that. Grandmaster Cass, all of us, a lot of us keep in contact and stuff like that. Lee from the movie, I keep in contact with him, from time to time. Charlie Ahern, we talk like 2-3 times a week. Fat Five Freddy, he's always going to France. I don't know why he just don't just go out there and just live out there. He's always out there all the time and shit. I talk with him and stuff like that. The Fantastic, we all keep in contact and stuff like that. The Cold Cuts brothers, we all keep in contact. Patty, Patty Astor, I talk with her on Facebook and stuff like that. But we keep in contact, with each other and stuff like that.
Yeah, we were supposed to have Whipper Whip and Queen Lisa Lee were supposed to join us, but somehow we lost contact today. They weren't able to get on, but incredible. Speaking with them about their role in the film as well. Anybody else got any other questions for Grand Wizard Theodore, KK, KBK, Rockwell? You got no more questions? All right.
So hip hop is definitely black music. Out here in Michigan, nobody knows what a Puerto Rican is. So I mean, in Grand Rapids, you do. You're the only part of Michigan that knows. The rest, I grew up in Detroit in the '80s, and so hip hop is black music. But could you talk a little bit about how the Puerto Ricans kind of fit in? Just because I know we got African blood in us, but it's hard for us to understand out here. Because we don't know, we're more segregated out here, the Puerto Ricans, from everybody else. So appreciate you speaking on that.
I mean, that's a good question, man. And I'm glad that you brought that up. First, let me say that all the Latino brothers and sisters that we're with in the city, man, we went to school together. We fought against each other. We fought with each other. We was in gangs with each other. We did everything together. When hip hop was being called disco, we had our Latino brothers with us. They were either B-boys or our security, or helping us with the equipment. They was there with us, man. They was right there with us because we all living in the same neighborhood. We go to each other's house and eat dinner. We was there with each other. So if anybody does say Latinos in hip hop, yes, you hear from Grand Wizzard Theodore. Latinos was definitely there in hip hop. They were definitely there because we was all living together in the same building, going to school together, in the gangs together, fighting against each other, fighting with each other. Rockwell, correct me if I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? So Latinos in hip hop, man. Of course, the Latinos were there in hip hop, man.
Hey, I'll tell you this. In the Fantastic Five, you had the first Puerto Rican MC, that was Ruby D, and the second, and that was Finch Whippoorwick in our group.
Yeah, man. So yeah, Latinos play a major part in hip hop, man. And I ain't gonna sit here and say it's a black thing, it's a this thing, it's a that thing. It's a cultural thing, period, man. Our culture, our environment is made us who we are today. That's where hip hop came from. Abandoned buildings. People say, why is all the buildings burning in the Bronx? Well, every time you see a picture of buildings burning. That's because the landlords couldn't get anyone to move inside their buildings. So they started burning their buildings and taking the insurance money and moving out and moving away. That's what was happening. And the city was not putting money back into the inner city. That's why you seen all the abandoned buildings in New York. And from that's the birth of hip hop. That's how hip hop came along. The graffiti artists was getting frustrated, so they started painting murals, started painting in different colors, started painting the trains, painting the derelict cars, painting in the schools, painting in the schoolyards. They was painting everywhere. And then you had the B-boys that was B-boying all over the place in the parks, in the hallways, on the streets because they was trying to get that frustration out of them. Then you had the MC that started writing down stuff, and then once he picked up a microphone, he started talking to the people inside the party so they know what he's been going through, whether it's drugs, single-parent home, going to school for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and still not learning anything, and everything that he's learning in the streets. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the DJ. Oh, boy, the DJ will come home, go in his room, slam the door, and just start playing music for the rest of the night. Because that's like reading a book. If you read a book about Italy, it's going to actually take you to Italy, even if you ain't been there before. You read a book about the people in Puerto Rico, and you never been to Puerto Rico before. Once you start reading that book, it basically will take you straight to Puerto Rico because you're reading the book. That's what music does for you, man. Music was the soundtrack to our life, man. We were listening to Gil Scott-Heron. I used to listen to James Brown records, but I listened to the beat. And once I got mature, I started listening to the words like, oh, shit, the big payback, talking loud, it ain't saying nothing, give it up, turning it loose. This is the message in all of the music. And this is the soundtrack to our lives. You know? I can go on and on, man. Should have wrote another book.
It's incredible, man. I thank you for joining us, man. It's been a privilege and an honor to have both of you guys on with us. We appreciate you, and we can definitely work on getting both of you guys out to Grand Rapids sometime this year in the near future to share some of this Hip Hop 50 celebration with us, all right?
Absolutely.
No doubt. No doubt.
I
No
appreciate
doubt.
you guys, man. Thank you, and have a great night. Y'all give it a round of applause for DJ Kev, Rockwell, and Grand Wizard Theodore.
Salute. 50th
Thank you,
anniversary.
thank you.
40th
Salute,
anniversary of
brothers.
hip-hop.
Absolutely.
guys.
Y'all
Thank
take
you,
care.
man.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Peace.
Good night, Frick.
Yeah, man. It's like 6 o'clock in the afternoon here, man. Peace, man.
Y'all on the West Coast. All right, we good. Y'all take care. Well, thank y'all for coming out and celebrating Hip Hop Appreciation Week with us tonight and watching Wild Style.